So it's middle of February and I haven't read a book in October. I think I read one in December, but it was like, not a comics book, but one of those that like people have an Instagram page with jokes and then they make a book out of it. And it's one of my favorite Instagram pages. It's called Strange or Stranger, Strange, I think it's Strange Planet. And I'm always sending screenshots of those things to Josh, and Josh got me the book and it was excellent, and I read it in December, but that doesn't really count as a book that you read, even though I put it on Goodreads, because one opportunity shall not go to waste. Anyway, it's mid of February and I haven't read anything since then. I don't think I'm a reader. I don't even think I enjoy reading anymore, because the last few months I haven't been reading and it's been great. I don't miss it in the slightest. So why am I doing a reading vlog? I have no answers for you because I really don't want to read, and every time people talk about books I'm like, I don't like books anymore. And even for Christmas I told everyone, please don't give me any books, I don't like books anymore. Anyway, I have considered getting rid of all my books because of this, but I feel like at this stage in life I cannot make any permanent decisions. Oh, I haven't been watching any book content. I see like people's bookish videos and I just don't want to click on them because books are so boring right now for me. And on Instagram as well, like I'm scrolling and I'm seeing like all the book posts and I don't care. I don't feel that empathy that I've always used to feel regarding books, or like looking at the covers and be like, oh, it's so pretty, or oh, I miss going book shopping or charity shopping to look for books. I don't miss any of that, and this is a really weird feeling to feel, and I feel odd sharing this with all of you, but as always, I like to keep it real. So yeah, I have been putting a certain distance between me and the entire book community. However, since 2 days ago or something, I came across this thing, which is not new obviously, but the 24 hours reading vlogs. Basically, that was the first content since October that made me want to see it, and I found out a few channels. I've watched a couple of their videos, the 24 hours ones, and from what I can say, there's two ways of doing it. There's people who read, and every time they read they set a timer and they read until the timer hits 24 hours, and obviously they try and read as much as possible in each day. So usually that takes like 3 or 4 days. Now I feel like I'm not ready for that kind of commitment. 3 days reading, it's a lot. So I thought I could go the other way, and during the period of 24 hours just force myself to read as much as I could. I might even set a timer every time I'm reading and then find out within those 24 hours how many hours I actually spent reading. That could be fun, right? Also, my hair is super greasy. I don't know why on earth did I decided to start a reading vlog when my hair looks like this. I'm getting really bored of my own clothes because I wear them every single day, and I don't have that many, especially like t-shirts. And I've been wearing them every single day since forever. So instead I'm using one of Josh's t-shirts just for a change of scenario, just for my mental sake, just so I'm not using the same clothes over and over again. I'm finally going to start reading, and I decided to start here in the bed. Is this risky? Potentially. But also I think that if there's one correct time to read in bed, would be shortly after I just got up, because that would minimize the risk of falling back asleep. Who knows, I guess we'll find out. I'm going to be reading this. I started this 3 weeks ago, maybe, and I don't even know which chapter I'm on because I was just listening to the audiobook while playing silly games on my phone trying to fall asleep. And I listened to it one time only, and I think I went through like 1/3 of the way in, never picked it back up. So I'm gonna find out where I am. I think we were following this girl who's doing a PhD. Yes, a third-year PhD candidate, Olive. And then she meets this guy one time in a bathroom, and I think she's telling him she's gonna give up on the PhD or something, or she's not sure if she should proceed. And she never gets the guy's name, and also she had some problem with her contact lenses. She hadn't swapped them in like a year or something. Something really weird. So she had her eyes closed, so she never saw the guy. And I bet the guy is gonna be this scientist that she's now working with, this professor, and they're fake dating because she told the friends she was gonna go on a date, but she didn't have a date, and then the friends were there on a party and she had to pretend she was on a date. So there was this guy who turns out was like her professor or something. I don't remember if she knew already he was a professor back then, but she just kissed him out of the blue so her friends could see her kissing someone. And then turns out everyone hates this guy, as in is known as like a really strict professor. Now he's decided that he's going to help her with the fake dating situation, so it makes it more believable for her friends. Question mark, question mark, question mark. Is this what is going on? It's 10 minutes past 6 p.m. I read for 45 minutes straight. Who is she? I read from chapter 7 to chapter... Well, I read chapter 7, 8, and 9. 3 chapters in a row. Oh my god! It's good, it's good. I'm enjoying it. I sheep them. That fake dating thing. The guy seems so mysterious and so cool. She's clearly falling for him. But then from his attitudes, you can also see that he's probably also falling for her. I dig it. I dig it every time they're interacting together. I don't care about anything else on the story, like the friends group and the investigation that she's doing about the cancer lab, and she's trying to get into Harvard University. But every time they're interacting, yes, I'm here for that. To be honest, I'm really enjoying the book and I want to continue reading it. What? And I'm so proud. Like, I was reading in bed and I didn't fall asleep. That is shocking. I finished dinner. It was lovely. I still need to put the dishes away, but I put the dishwasher cleaning, so the kitchen is still a mess, but that's fine because the dishwasher is busy currently. Anyway, this is the challenging part where I'm going to attempt resume reading, but obviously I just finished dinner. I have dessert here, caramel thing. I put it in a mug because mugs are the most versatile utensil in a kitchen, in my opinion. Anyway, I have my blanket with sleeves, which is perfect for reading. I have my book. And I'm going to try and not fall asleep. I'll set my timer. We were at 45 minutes before, and I'm starting at page 167. Let's see until when I can read. So I read for another 45 minutes on the sofa. I think it was 4 chapters this time. This is what I have left. Now, it's only like 8:15 p.m, but I was getting sleepy on the sofa, even though I'm surprised that I lasted this long after dinner. But I was getting sleepy and I reckoned that if I stayed there, I was just gonna fall asleep. I tried scrolling through Instagram for a bit because sometimes that wakes me up, but today it was just sending me straight into sleep. So I was literally there like this. So I was like, no, you must stop. You cannot fall asleep here. And the dogs have been in the bedroom for ages. Like, they've just been chilling here in bed, and it's quite dark here because I didn't want to turn on the light, so this is literally my phone's flashlights on. I need to wash my hair today, so I'm just gonna do that. Have my long shower, you know, I like it. That's the equivalent of a bath for me. So when I have my long shower, I get to wash my hair, scrub it in really well, and then I'm gonna get to bed. I assume that by the time I'm finishing with showering, washing hair, drying my hair, all that, it's gonna take me like 45 minutes or so. I'll be slightly more awake, so hopefully I'll be able to read a few more chapters of this. And it's still very early, but you know what? I was like, if I fall asleep at 9 p.m, I fall asleep at 9 p.m, that will most likely mean that I will wake up in the middle of the night. But then maybe we just wake up and continue reading, who knows? I've been in bed for roughly an hour and I've just been scrolling on my phone. Well, I'm lying. I wasn't scrolling that much, but I scrolled just a little bit just to get myself in the mood. And then Josh messaged me and I was talking to him, and then I decided to go on YouTube, and then I was like, you know what, I need to hype myself. So I went to watch a couple more of those intense reading vlogs that leave me with a vibe of reading. So now it's finally time to resume the book. It's 10:30 question mark? No, it's 10:15, so it's super early still, considering I usually only fall asleep at 5 a.m. But I guess that today I'm gonna fall asleep slightly earlier. I am enjoying the book, however, I think it's moving a little bit slowly because maybe it's me, maybe I'm the drama. But I did mention earlier that I don't really care about the rest of the plot. I just care about the relationship because that's what I want to know about the story. But they're going on to this conference, and her 2 best friends, they usually share a room, the 3 of them, but they assumed she would just stay with her boyfriend, which makes sense. So they found alternative accommodation. And now she's like, I don't know where to stay, and everything's really expensive because everything is sold out. And obviously the fake boyfriend is like, just stay with me, let's just share a room. Like, they think they were gonna, because if we don't, they're gonna be really suspicious of that and everything. She has this massive crush on him, so she's like, no, we can't. But of course I'm like, yes, you can. And she's telling him it's gonna be just 1 bed. And he's like, no, it's a double. I can forward you the email confirmation. She's like, no, it's always just 1 bed. And he's like, what are you on about? It's 2 beds. And she keeps insisting, no, it's going to be just 1 bed. Yes, it's always just 1 bed. I lost count of how many chapters I read in one go, but I'm 2 hours and 18 in. And this is where I go in the book. I'm going on to chapter 18, and I just finished, I think it was 2 chapters, where I'm not sure, I don't even know how to describe it. I feel like it should have a red ball in the corner. I don't know if I was reading a romance book or if I was reading a porno. It was so vividly described and the language they were using, dear my. I'm gonna abstain from commenting, but it was very intense. I think it was the most intense sex scene that I've ever read in a book, and it was so long, so detailed as well. I came to the kitchen to drink milk and eat some cookies. Nothing much is better with a romance book than milks and cookies, because you know, that's the perfect pair. I feel dirty eating after the scenes I just read. I think there's important topics in those two chapters, and I feel like proper reviewers would approach those and talk about it, like maybe problematic things, like the way they were described and the idealism. They make the whole thing, I don't know. I feel like there could be important commentary that could be done, but I'm not gonna do it because I'm here to read books. But this vlog, I don't really want to review the books because I'm not a reviewer. I never really know what to say, so obviously I'll let you know my general thoughts at the end, but I'm not gonna go into too much details of what I'm thinking or why I'm thinking that especially. Honestly, I feel like it's between a 3 and a 4, maybe like a 3.75, so I would round it up for a 4, but I don't think it would be a 5 stars. There's a lot of things around their relationship that I couldn't care less, and I feel like that would impact my review at the end, but obviously once I finish the book, that's when I know my final review. Cookies have been eaten. It is almost midnight. According to the audiobook, I have roughly 1 hour left. It's the time that it's gonna take me to read this last section. I was getting a bit sleepy earlier, but I think that now that I've eaten, I'm feeling awake again. So I think I might be able to actually pull this one off and finish reading the book. How exciting would that be? This is the kind of content that I've always wanted to create, like the actual things that I say I'm gonna do, I go and do them. I finished the book. It's 1:20 a.m. I read a grand total today of 3 hours and 24 minutes. Now, if that's not impressive, I don't know what is. I'm going to give it like a 3.5, 3.75. On Goodreads, I put 4. I'm still thinking if I should put it 3. There was a couple of things that I found very predictable as well. And I never predict anything in books, but I predicted those. So yeah, overall, it was okay. I'm happier with the fact that I read something than I am with the fact that I read this specific something. It would be super cool if I could read an entire second book tomorrow. I think that now I'm gonna turn off the lights and just lay in here, scroll on Goodreads through the list of books that I have on my physical TBR and pick up a few that I find interesting and click on them to read the synopsis, and hopefully that will help me choose something to read tomorrow. Or I might try and see some reading vlogs or like reading TikTok or something about like some of these specific books and see if that works to get me hyped about one of them. And then tomorrow I'll let you know what I'll do. Good morning, it's 9:30 and I woke up like an hour ago. I already had breakfast and I just got back in bed. Last night, like I said, I went through my shelf of books that I physically own on my TBR and I was scrolling through them. And then I wasn't feeling sleepy at all, so I ended up actually starting one of the books. So I'm currently at 3 hours, 48 minutes read. That's amazing. And the book that I started was this one, Tender is the Flesh. I don't know if they categorize this as a horror or if it's just a thriller, but basically it's this reality where the animal meat got some disease to it and it was no longer safe to be eaten by humans. So instead the government authorized and legalized this special meat production, which is basically human meat. And so there are humans who are bred on purpose for this. They get special vaccines and everything to make sure they're not toxic, and then there's slaughterhouses that kills them, and the butcher's houses, you actually go and you buy different cuts of special meat like you would do for an animal, except it's a person. But you're not allowed to call them humans or a person or anything because that would create a special connection to them, so you just call it special meat. I'm going on to chapter 10. And so far it's very interesting. We are following the point of view of Marcos, and he is basically the person that kills the special meat to then send them to the butchers. But then he was given this woman as a special gift, and I think according to what it says on the synopsis, by looking after her, because he's not able to kill her because she's basically living with him, he starts remembering what life used to be, and there's gonna be something happening about that. So I reached part 2, and then the chapters go back to chapter 1. This is page 133, And this is what I have left. So I'm more than halfway through the book. And I'm at 4 hours and 40 minutes. Which is crazy. Like, what? It's so long. Anyway, I am getting sleepy though. This last chapter, I was feeling my head drip. So I'm just gonna turn off the light and close the blinds and all that and have a quick little nap. The dogs are here and they're both chilling as well. So it's the perfect environment for a nap. It's interesting. There was a part where they were describing the slaughterhouse because he was giving a tour to new employees and he was making me quite nauseous. But besides that, the story is it's one of those where nothing really is happening. I guess this is what you call character driven instead of plot driven. I haven't got my contacts on or my makeup done or anything because earlier today when I said I was gonna take a nap in bed, it didn't happen. I ended up staying in bed for like another 2 hours and I couldn't fall asleep. So then I decided to get up, get dressed and all that, but I knew that I would eventually fall asleep because I had only slept for a few hours. And so that's why I kept my glasses on. I came downstairs, I had some food, and yes, I fell asleep and I had a lovely little nap. I woke up, I had some more food because that's what one does. And now I'm ready to finish the book because it's actually 5 p.m. already, and yesterday I said I was gonna do this until 5 p.m. so it was exactly 24 hours. I think I have 1 hour left according to the audiobook, so let's go! Oh my god! On the last chapter of part 1, he was saying how he released the woman that he had captive and he was going to clean her, or he was cleaning her actually, and then he was like looking at her naked body and nothing was said, but you kind of assumed that he would, I don't want to say rape her because he's a good guy, I mean he works in a slaughter, but you know, he's a better person than the other characters in the book, so I don't want to say rape her, but have sex with her, even though it wouldn't be consensual because she's like an animal. She doesn't know what's happening in her life. She's 20 years old, but she's always lived in captivity. So she doesn't have the human knowledge of life per se. Anyway, but that wasn't specified. You kind of just assumed. Then on the first chapter of part 2, you're reading through it and he sits on the couch and is watching TV, and then out of the sudden she appears and he's explaining that he lets her be loose in the house when he's around and that she's been enjoying it. She has learned how to shower and she's learned as well that it's normal to wear clothes and to dress herself and that things will protect her. She likes watching TV. In the beginning she used to be scared of it, but now she understands that it's not dangerous. And then the chapter literally ends up with he runs his hand over her belly. She's 8 months pregnant. So now the question is, I don't know if this chapter would have been like 8 months after the previous one. This is his baby. Or if she was actually already pregnant by the time she got to him. Because in this world as well, there's people who like buy the special meat but still alive, and it's literally they rape them to death. It's horrible. Anyway, yeah, shocking. I finished the book and my total is 5 hours and 47 minutes. So almost 6 hours reading in 24 hours. This is crazy. Even when I used to read, I never read this much in a row. Like I don't just sit and read a book, but I really enjoyed it. I read 2 full books and I really enjoyed it. I feel like even though none of these books were my favorites, I enjoyed being back in the mood of reading, if that makes any sense. To this book, I'm going to give it a 3 stars. The story had some moments where it was very disturbing. There was a scene with puppies and some teenagers mistreating and killing the puppies. And I think that was the most difficult one for me to read. I was reading it like literally with my hand over my mouth and it was just horrendous. Then at the end there's a plot twist that I had read somewhere. The other day when I was on Goodreads, I read someone's review saying there was a huge plot twist at the end. I didn't predict it, but at the same time it was obvious. But it also doesn't make any sense. Like, why would it be like that? The whole thing is weird. And even though it's well written in the way that the descriptions are well described and they do throw you into that
mindset and they mess up with your head, as they're so disgusting. But I didn't love it, so I'm gonna give it a 3 stars. But it's a quick read, so if you wanna test your stomach limits, then definitely give it a try. Otherwise, you know, it's nothing out of this world. I mean, it's a little bit out of this world because of the theme, but it's nothing extraordinary. But this was great. Let me know if you'd like to see other 24-hour reading vlogs, and if you'd like to continue seeing me try and fall in love with the hobby of reading. Until then, I'll see you next time on another video. Bye!